Okay, go.
Okay, I have 2 layers of saran wrap. I've got the dough in between it. I'm picking up both pieces of saran wrap, and I'm holding it pretty firmly. That's my door in the wind. And I'm using an edge that's pretty intact. There aren't any cracks there. I use kind of a tidy edge, not one that's like got, I didn't choose the side because it's got sort of a big piece. It's kind of a smoothish edge. I'm holding my rolling pin here by the handle. I'm flipping it over the rolling pin, and I'm pulling on this, right? I am lifting it up by this bottom piece of saran. Then I am holding this firmly, and I'm firmly pulling the saran away from it. Okay. So my objective is to detach this dough from that piece of saran, and usually it's just going to lift right up, but every now and then there's a stuck place, and that'll rip a hole if you go fast. So I'm just going to turn it over and turn it over, and use my fingers to lift it. And it's okay for this dough to touch that dough while I'm rolling it because I'm not pressing down on it. In fact, I'm kind of lifting this up all the time. So I'm lifting it up, I'm lifting it up. Then I just put the dish here. I lift it up, and I'm lightly using my hand to drape. I'm supporting it and draping it, and see what's happening is it's going to break right there. But because the plastic wrap is on the top, it's helping to hold it together. I'm draping it down in there, and you want to give it, help it lift up and go down into the corners. Help it lift up and go down into the corners, and tap, tap, tap it into a place, lightly pressing it, and then I'm going to peel the saran away. And because we're making an apple pie, I'm just going to leave this just like that, because I'm going to use those long flaps to tidy up the edges and to seal the edges together for the apple. So I'm just going to, over there. Then I'm going to make the top, and I'm just going to go ahead because you're filming me, and then maybe I could just put that on my place where people look when I'm telling them how to do things. Okay, good.
Wait a minute. And this is Becca.
Okay, so I'm making my disc, making the big hamburger shape. I'm pressing it. What I'm trying to do is to get the edges so that the dough is really stuck together along the edge, because that's going to keep it from breaking when I'm rolling it. So I'm pressing it out and making a nice big patty. Floury. If the dough got stuck to that with the first one, I'm going to flip it over and use the other side and powder it up again. But it didn't get stuck this past time, so that was good. So press, press. Opposite direction. Just keep going in the opposite direction. Just little ways. I mean, I'm just making like a quarter turn or a half turn.
What about these kinds of rolling pins versus
These
the
kinds
kind
of rolling pins transfer your pressure more effectively. So you have to press more gently with these. These, I think they're good because you're not tempted to use the handles, and I want to put the pressure on the rolling part. I don't ever use the handle except for lifting. These are more direct. The smaller circumference makes it more direct, so you have to kind of watch it. It's easier to press too hard with these, but they work. See, it works. But I find that the bigger one, I like it because I know I'm just making about a half of a turn, and this one you're going to end up making more turns. I don't know, I just like the bigger circumference better. And that might just be experience. That might just be because this is what I'm used to using. Kate McDermott, the famous pie teacher who came and taught in my class, in my room, in my kitchen, she uses these. When you take her class, you get one of those. But, so, purists. Okay. You want to try it?
Where's your pie plate?
Ha! Let's put the filling in it. All right. Do you believe in dotting with butter? If so, are you making this with butter?
Does it taste better with butter?
You know, every recipe tells you
better with butter.
every recipe tells you to dot it with butter, and I always forget. But I remembered today, so why don't we?
Was your winning recipe the other week dotted with butter?
No, I don't bother.
I don't bother. Because I'm from the Becca Knox school.
Be
Using my
liberated.
fingers.
Yeah, use your fingers, because the one thing is, right, you wanna position them to fill it in, but you don't want to get them real up close to the edge, because when you're moving the dough around, you don't want to rip, like I just did the apple, rip the dough on those sharp, pointy points of the apple.
Thanks for
They're gonna
breaking my
settle.
pie.
Thanks for what?
Breaking my pie.
Now,
We can call this Becca's pie, actually.
when you do more than one at a time, you end up with all the juice in here, and that pie wants some of this juice, so I'm going to pour some of this juice on it.
Does it talk to you?
Yeah, it says I need some of that juice because, you know why? Because the tapioca flour, the tapioca starch that's going to thicken the filling is mostly in that juice. after it's been sitting there for a little while. Okay, so this little spot might give us a little trouble because it's kind of narrow, but we're going to make it go. So I'm lifting. Oh, do you want to do this?
Sure.
Okay.
Or do you want to do it?
Oh, yeah, here you go. Just lift it.
All right, well, let me do it.
All right, you do it. Go. Now, the one thing that can happen is so you want to be at the ready to hold that, hold that lifted up. Yep, there you go. Beautiful.
This is trickier than I thought it was going to be.
You have to keep this, you have to be holding this taut.
You need another.
Oh, I just
And?
ripped it.
It's okay. Patches are going to be fine, and remember you're going to want to cut a vent. So here's what you do. You lift it up and then peel this away. Because it's easier to peel away the saran wrap from the dough than to peel the dough away from the saran wrap. Okay, beautiful. It's perfect because that's just going to be right where you're going to cut a vent. So you drape it over it. Lovely! And then in this situation, you go ahead and peel it back. You don't even need to patch it because it's going to be a vent. So, now is when we trim a little bit because it's got a lot there. And so I kind of trim it to about a uniform overlay. And I'm feeling the underside in these places because that would make a really, really big edge if we had all that gooey part right there. Those are the bits that will roll into an apple shape and make it really darling on top. Okay. So, see, that's where that little short spot is. So I'm going to roll this top dough over the top of that, and I'm going to pinch it. And I'm basically rolling the top dough over the bottom dough. I'm feeling the bottom dough, and I'm rolling it across it. And in the places where the bottom dough seems kind of short, I'm really giving it a good pinch. But you know what, guys? If it goobs out, so be it. We are not trying to be the beauty queens of pie. Now here I have a trick where the top is narrower than the back. The back is longer than the back. So I'm going to do the reverse and turn the back over the top in that little area. Because all I'm just trying to do is get it so that I'm pinching the two layers together and not making a place for the juices to goob out. And even though I dissed your pie pan, the pie crust rolled out big enough that it's okay. So it's standing up, the crust is standing proud of the edge. And so that's going to be good because we're going to be able to arrange the sticking up crust into a pretty shape. Okay, so I've rolled it all under. And now it's all sort of standing up. And now, one thing you can do is you can do how do you do that? You do this. You do that. 2 fingers, and then 1, pull it, and then you get the really big scallops. That's how do we like big scallops?
We like you showing us everything.
Okay, so that's
We
how you
don't
do
care.
big scallops. You do small scallops by getting your knuckle floury.
Go for it.
You put your knuckle down, and you push. I'm not pinching. I'm just pushing the knuckle against, and that makes the smaller scallops. But I kind of like the big scallops on this one because it's standing up so much. Maybe that area will be
Special.
the small scallop area.
It's made by me. They're not really expecting perfection.
Now when you're doing this, be careful that you don't just poke your finger right on through there like I almost did just then. Okay. Those are looking kind of big in relation to these, so maybe I'll...
Nice pie.
Now, if you want to make it shiny and beautiful when you bake it, then
Pick.
that has too much dough right there. That piece is going to dough full. I'm going to take some of that dough off. If you want it to be shiny and beautiful, you brush it with egg white. You whip some egg white up with a little bit of water, and you brush it with that. And you cut 3. You want to have nice big vents so the steam can escape. You really want the steam to be able to come out.
Fat ones.
Well, yeah, because you know what? This dough will close right up if you make little ones. And then, Oh, it's kind of big. Yeah. All right, this is ridiculously long now. Your apple definitely needs a stem. Showing off now, just so we're clear.
Perhaps you should keep this pie.
No. No. Unless you want to say
Take credit for
you'd
it.
like to present this as your pie, you could do that. Okay, so do you want to egg wash it?
Yeah, I'll egg wash it.
Okay, I think we will patch up that hole there. Just a little bit.
Do we really need any more filming, or you think we're
I think
about
that's
done?
enough.